New Super Mario Bros. U's Peach's Castle is quite an unfortunate world. If you ask a lot of people, most would tell you that it's a rather disappointing finale to the game, and I would not necessarily disagree. It's by far the shortest world in the game, and by extension the entire NSMBU series at a measly 6 levels. However, it makes it one of the most interesting worlds to realize because of it, especially when it comes to structure. In my previous video, I have established that the numerical levels in New Super Mario Bros. U have a set pattern in design, and that each world tries to fit that pattern, with some liberties having to be taken for certain worlds that don't perfectly fit the mold. In this video, I said that Red Hot Elevator Ride took the role of an X-6, the world's finale. However, this is not how I fully felt about it, but I decided nonetheless to map it as such as it was the most simple and easy to understand option, and after further analysis and discussion, I have reached a new conclusion. So, what is Red Hot Elevator Ride? First thing I do want to point out is that I still believe that on some level, it is supposed to be the final numerical level of the world. Everything I pointed out in the previous video still applies. Has a mechanic that feels big and overwhelming, the most thematically fitting enemies, and defines the appeal of the world. Before I reached that conclusion, however, I used to say that Red Hot Elevator Ride was this world tower level, and that would make a lot of sense. It is a vertical level after all. Tower levels are constant in every world, and due to Peach's Castle's short length and straightforward layout, I can see how the tower taking place in the castle could have been a decision they took. The main rebuttal against it would be that Peach's Castle not having a tower would still make for 8 tower levels in the game overall, since Rock Candy Mines has 2 towers. The NSMBU series has never really concerned itself with having the same amount of tower as their world. While New Super Mario Bros. Wii had 1 per world, New Super Mario Bros. 2 didn't have any for World Flower, Mushroom, or Star, and DS had an extra 1 for both World 6 and 8. Overall, the theory that it's a tower level seems rather plausible. Even its placement is in line with the other tower levels, being placed right after the 3rd level. One other interesting thing about Red Hot Elevator Ride is actually the level name. While the name in English and other European countries is rather inconspicuous, its Japanese name reveals something very peculiar. It's called this, which roughly translates to the Seized Peach's Castle, which is a rather unspecific level name. If we also take a look at the Japanese level names for the Luigi U level current event, as well as both NSMBU and NSLU's final battle, it seems that those 3 levels share a consistent naming scheme, those being Decisive Battle Peach's Castle, Electric Shock Peach's Castle, and the Final Battle Peach's Castle. They all seem to share a consistent naming scheme of a short name with an exclamation mark followed by Peach's Castle. This pattern is notably absent in the Seized Peach's Castle. There are no exclamation mark before Peach's Castle, and the level name is treated as one continuous sentence. And that is because I believe that their intention is to make it appear as if this is the last level. The fact that Luigi U doesn't try to is probably due to the fact that you're already supposed to know, since Luigi U is a game recommended for a more experienced player, and therefore you would already have experience with New Super Mario Bros. U. And if we look at certain parts of the game, it seems to line up. When you first enter the world, the actual last level node is not visible, making your final destination Red Hot Elevator Ride. The level node is also positioned like every other castle level, just for a much bigger castle. Looking at the level itself, the way everything is presented also does give it an aura of finale. The level starts with a single Goomba, ending your journey with the same enemy as the very first level. A completely unique tileset that is not seen anywhere else in the game, and the castle music, that also makes it feel like the final castle. Especially since New Super Mario Bros. U is the first game in the Mario series to have a unique music for its final castle. This is the part where I need to point out that Red Hot Elevator Ride isn't a fake out castle, but merely its first half. The verticality may come as a surprise, but still makes for a climactic challenge before the end. It's also interesting because New Super Mario Bros. Wii's final castle also had a vertical section, but was instead the second section rather than the first. This also makes for a pretty cool parallel, with one bringing you into the depth of the castle's ruins, while the other brings you up on the dark and stormy roof. This even adds up when it comes to the checkpoints, since we only had 1 checkpoint before the boss door room, and so does NSMBU. Although it could be argued that the flagpole of Red Hot Elevator Ride acts as the checkpoint of both levels, as it's placed between 2 halves that have a distinct mechanic and also the only level to not have a castle next to the skull pole. The door is also something that might point to it being a final level of sorts. NSMBU actually removed an element otherwise present in every other game, the D-pad door. So outside of ghost houses, the only door present in the game are the ones in the end of each castle and tower. This creates an expectation in the player's mind that this door will lead to a boss, just like it did the last 15 times. But instead, it leads to a roof, with the reveal that you have an entire level left to play. It's also interesting that this and the final battle share the exact same icon, almost as if they were one and the same. Or well, it seems like they do. Looking at the files that store each of the icons, you can see that there are 3 Peach's Castle icons in that file, and while the first one is unused and probably a remnant of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, as its position is similar to the Peach's Castle icon of that game, The other two are right next to each other and are used for the 2 castle levels of World 8. It's interesting that they use different icons because it might indicate that at one point they were intended to have different icons, but then they decided that they should share one instead, perhaps because they're intended to be considered the same level. The very last thing that proves this theory actually relates back to this world amount of level. If we ignore the secret level for a second, we have 1, 2, 3, then a castle. The same amount of levels as worlds in the original Super Mario Bros. Trying to understand the intent behind each decision is something that I value greatly in art. Being able to look at things from the perspective of a creator and trying to make sense of each of the parts and how they connect. And looking at this level gave me a new fun appreciation for it, and Peach's Castle overall. While I was at first very disappointed by how short it was, I ended up taking a liking to that world, and now it's up there as one of my favorites. So, what do you think the intent of Red Hot Elevator Ride is? Is it the final numerical level? The tower? The first half of the final castle? Well, I like to think that's all of those. Thank you for watching this video. As always, there's a link to Acorn Cafe, a new Super Mario Bros. U modding server in the description. My next video is going to be a follow-up on the previous video talking about the structure of New Super Mario Bros. U. If you have anything you have noticed regarding the structure of New Super Mario Bros. U, make sure to put it in the comments. Also, I would like to thank everyone for the overwhelming support I've seen on the previous video. It has become the most popular video on my channel as of right now, and I am eternally grateful for that. Goodbye.